Hello, all. I want to thank those of you who were curious enough to click on this video. This video is related to my book project, The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story. In it, I show some of my writings, some of my promotional writings from the book. And I want to encourage viewers to check out those links, but also check out my two most recent posts looking back at Arthur Agee and William Gates from the classic basketball documentary Hoop Dreams. That is one of my favorite documentaries, and it's in large part an inspiration for my book project. It's a story that definitely um, the underlying themes of that documentary definitely involve what sports teach you about life and success going forward into the adult world, even if you don't make the NBA. So I just wanted to make this announcement, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. In this video, I want to talk about one of the most important and one of the most fundamental lessons sports can teach us. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76 Sports. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new. If you want to support the channel via a donation or signing up for my newsletter, that information is below in the description box, and you can also leave a super thanks. Well, I wanted to record a video discussing one of the most important and fundamental lessons that sports can teach us, especially if you've ever competed. So I started this channel to cover Michigan football, and so we've spent a lot of time on the gridiron recently. Well, let's take it back to the hardwood. For the new people here, I am an aspiring author, and I am working on a sports-related book. I've talked about that from time to time. I'm going to leave a bunch of links below this video in case in case this is your first time hearing about it, and I'm going to refer to some of the materials that I've generated thus far. But in this video, I want to talk about one of the most fundamental lessons that sports teach you. And for myself and in my life, this lesson, it keeps coming up over and over and over again. The names change, the arena changes, but the lesson keeps coming up over and over and over again. So let's talk about making mistakes, and let's talk about learning through making mistakes. My book project is entitled The Engineers, a Western New York Basketball Story. It's a story about learning the great game of basketball, but it's also a story about life. It's a story about the spirituality of the game. It's a story about growing up. It's a story about learning how to navigate the world. It's a story about learning to deal with life's adversities. And we see that all the time at the pro level, at the college level, at the high school level. But since I've done a lot of Michigan football here on this channel, we've seen that with the Michigan Wolverines. And I'm thinking about someone like Cade McNamara, who had the quarterback position pretty much sewn up, but there was a younger and arguably more talented guy who came up after him competing for the job. We see guys lose their jobs to injuries, and we see all kinds of things happen in terms of off-the-field incidents, guys not making the grades, coaches leaving, those kinds of things. But all throughout that experience, uh, players and coaches are learning by trial and error. And that's a key theme in my book, The Engineers, a Western New York Basketball Story. Sometimes you have to learn through making mistakes. And in some instances, you learn more through making the mistakes. And then you just try to do your best, and then you persevere and try to do better the next time. So it was a gray, wintry, Western New York, Buffalo day. It might have been a Tuesday or Friday. All of our Yale Cup games were on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and then the Friday to end the week. If you want to learn some more about our city league, the Yale Cup, I'm leaving that link below in the description box. I was just coming off my best game as a senior against Buffalo Traditional. You can read about Buffalo Traditional in the description box below as well, if you see fit. And we were playing an away game at Bennett High School on Main Street near the University District. We were on offense. I think Coach Dowman started me that game, and we were on offense. It was a hard-fought game. I believe it was in the first half, and the ball went out of bounds under our basket. Our point guard, Reginald Hoax, number 22, he took the ball out of bounds. The ref handed him the ball. He called a play. It was a box formation. Those of us closer to the baseline, when the ball was put into play, were to turn and screen away so the guys at the top of the key could hopefully come forward and catch the ball and score a basket for themselves. If not, we would go into our offense. I did not notice that my defensive man had fallen asleep or had went to double team someone else. So I was right under the basket and wide open. Reggie took the ball, hit it like that to signify start the play. Let's get the play going. I didn't notice my man was not on me, so I turned around to run the play. Reggie threw the ball to me, and it sailed out of bounds. I turned around and looked at him, wondering what happened after hearing the referee's whistle. And then in typical Reggie fashion, he wailed and he said, "There was nobody on you, your man. You were wide open." And I turned and I looked at him. And then I looked over at our coach, Coach Dowman, and I realized, wow, I just screwed up. I left 2 points on the board, or what's the term? I left 2 points out there. I think another basket would have given me double figures for that game. But the point is that in sports and in life, you can script things, you can think things are going to go a certain way, and you can have in your mind that it's going to go a certain way. But in some instances, you have to adapt to the situation as it's unfolding. My mind was so fixed on running the play that I didn't have the flexibility at the time, or I didn't have the experience because I missed my junior year. That's in my book too. I didn't have the flexibility in here or the experience to know that sometimes situations will unfold that will break from the structure of the play. And you have to be in the moment enough to take what's being given to you. Okay, so sometimes opportunities open up that you don't see there. You have to take them when they're there. And they may be unexpected. But the bigger lesson is that I had to go through that. I had to experience that to know that that could happen. And that experience is forever etched into my mind and into my psyche. Now, it's a hard lesson to learn, and it's something that's repeated over and over in life's other arenas. This particular context is the great game of basketball. That's where I learned the lesson for the first time. But in life's other arenas, whether it's relationships, whether it's on your job, whether it's in your business, this lesson still applies. Number one, again, things may unfold that aren't scripted and you have to figure out what to do right there in the moment. But you may make the wrong decision and then you have to take the lesson from it. So, a large part of life, no matter what game you're playing, whether it's the great game of basketball or Monopoly, or if it's a relationship, an intimate relationship, or if it's at your job or whatever, a part of how we learn is making mistakes and learning what not to do and also what to do the next time. A lot of people get mad at you in real life because you don't do what they expect you to do or what they think you should do right there in that particular moment. But I'm a firm believer that sometimes you have to make mistakes, unfortunately. And that's how you learn. That's how the lesson stays. That's how the lesson lasts. And for those of you who are into financial books, Robert Kiyosaki, the author of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, he says the same thing in his writings, that life is about making mistakes. And in life, that's how we learn, and that's how we grow, and that's how we evolve, making mistakes. So that's the big lesson I learned from sports in my brief participation in it. Well, not actually, that's one of the big lessons. But it's a lesson, once again, that's translated over into life's other arenas. Well, that's all I've got for this one. I want to thank those of you who watched this. Please let me know if any of this resonated with you. I know the bulk of the content on this channel has been Michigan football, but there's a reason I named the channel Big Discussions 76 Sports. I wanted to give myself the flexibility to talk about numerous things: Michigan football, my book, other things as well. So let me know if you've experienced this yourself. I also want to thank Coach David Nieves from the class of '93. I don't think he's coaching there now, but a couple of years ago when I went back to take a look at the new gym, because Hutch Tech has a new gym, he gave me a couple of shirts. I think this is the first time I've actually worn this shirt. But I want to thank him and acknowledge him for this. I'm going to wrap this up here. Everyone, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're curious after hearing this, once again, I've left the link to my book and other promotional materials in the description box below. I'm thinking about my essay about the Yale Cup. That was the league we played in, the city league we played in the city of Buffalo. So in any case, I'm going to wrap this up. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate something to the channel, that information is below in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks. And also, please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter to get more updates on my writing and other content creation endeavors. So with that, everyone, you know how I end these videos. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. And I think I'm going to start adding on something else. Always do your best. Always do your best. And try your hardest, and always try to be your best. Even if you fall short, always do your best. So with that, I'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.